What's up, guys? This is Webby, back again for your Survivor Series preview and predictions. We're coming up on the 30th annual Survivor Series and Fantasy Warfare is what this show is supposed to be all about. And the only thing I'm going to say about that is no. Absolutely not. Fantasy Warfare does not describe the Survivor Series this Sunday. Not a bit. Because Brock Lesnar and Goldberg are portrayed as heels and baby faces. Brock Lesnar being the heel, Goldberg being the baby face. That's not fantasy. Not a bit. Fantasy is when the fans can cheer and boo for whoever they want. Fantasy is when Paul Heyman is not forced to say this, the gist of his promos. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and you all are pissing my client off because you chant Goldberg. That is not fantasy. Fantasy is organic. Fantasy is something we can really get our teeth invested and juiced invested in. What we're seeing on Monday Night Raw really has not got us invested in. Unless you take what happened this past Monday on Raw when they got into that heated confrontation, or the showdown behind the scene packages that they were showing when Brock Lesnar was saying he didn't care about Goldberg shouldn't have came back, all that kind of stuff. And then Goldberg talked about why he came back. So other than that, this hasn't been fantasy. However, this match, Goldberg needs to lose. Brock Lesnar needs to pick up the victory. Brock Lesnar absolutely needs to continue this huge monster push. Goldberg's not the one to beat the one behind the one in what's now 23-1. Goldberg is there to boost up ratings a little bit. Goldberg's there to promote the game, and that's about it. Now, what will happen, we will see this Sunday. But all I know is Brock Lesnar needs to win. The Cruiserweight Championship, Brian Kendrick versus Kalisto. Kalisto, okay. Look, we all know what needs to happen. Everybody is wanting Kalisto to beat Brian Kendrick and move the Cruiserweights to SmackDown. Every hardcore fan that I have listened to is saying that. Now, do I see that happening? You know, this Survivor Series is very intriguing and hard to predict. Very hard to predict. Because, on one hand, where if Kalisto wins, okay, and they move the Cruiserweight Championship to SmackDown, alright, to SmackDown. They move it to SmackDown, and they have that 205 show right after SmackDown, so it would make sense that the whole Cruiserweight division, 205, everything's on SmackDown. The wrestling show, because Monday Night Raw is more talking. I, on one hand, can't see them just ripping away Brian Kendrick's Cruiserweight Championship victory already, reign, and flip-flopping it? What are you going to do? Have him lose it to Kalisto and then beat Kalisto again real quick? Is that what you're going to do? I mean, I can't see that. So, that is a very hard one to predict. As hard as that one is to predict, the Intercontinental Championship is a hard one to predict as well. Because if the Cruiserweight division goes to SmackDown, What happens with the Intercontinental Championship? Because just think, that would mean that there's one less title on Raw. Do you really want to take the middle title of SmackDown and put it on Raw? That means you have the United States Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, the Universal Championship, all on Raw. Tag Team Championship, the Women's Championship, you have on SmackDown. WWE Championship, Tag Team Championship, Cruiserweight Championship, Women's Championship. There's no middle championship for them to fight for in your mid-card. Raw, there's no mid-card. There's not. They're all main event players, pretty much. So, it wouldn't make any sense to do that. So, if you have Sami Zayn beat The Miz on Sunday, which I honestly wanted Dolph Ziggler to be in this matchup, because it didn't need to be heel versus babyface. It didn't need it. Okay? It really didn't need it, and Dolph Ziggler versus Sami Zayn would put on a great, terrific matchup. But if Sami Zayn wins this Sunday, then Sami Zayn needs to go to SmackDown. He needs to be off Raw. Do not do this to SmackDown. Do not move the Intercontinental Championship to Raw. That would make absolutely no sense. There's not enough people on Raw for you to defend that title. Now, you're saying, oh, yes, there is. Raw got the bigger idea. Raw got the bigger hand. Raw got more draft picks. Okay. I want you all to think of this. Okay? Really think of this. You look at Monday Night Raw and you look at everybody that they use. Everybody that they use. Do you see anybody on there that they use that's out of the main event picture that really deserves the Intercontinental Championship? Okay, so you have your main event picture. You have Roman Reigns. You have Seth Rollins. You have all of them. Chris Jericho. They're not going to put it on Chris Jericho. No, they're not. What are you going to do? Stick Rusev back in the Intercontinental Championship picture? Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, no, you don't want to do that. Very hard toss-up call here to predict. However, my money says that The Miz retains and they keep it on SmackDown. I can't see WWE making changes because they don't take chances. Team Raw 10-on-10 traditional Survivor Series match. Tag teams. Versus Team SmackDown. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Look, this is okay. Not really much to say about this. I don't have much to say about this. All tag teams are wrestling. There you go. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, the women's 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. Once again, this is going to be very interesting to see who wins, because they have stuck the dynamic in this match of rivalries that don't like each other as a tag team facing the other brand. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Honestly, I can see Team SmackDown winning this particular match. I can see Team SmackDown winning. That's what I'm going for. As far as the men traditional Survivor Series matchup, that will go to Team Raw. 100%. And I say that because of the reemergence of the dead man, the Phenom, the Undertaker, this past Tuesday on SmackDown. Because the Undertaker made a bone-chilling announcement that he's back to take souls and dig holes. And he made the announcement that don't be afraid about the Survivor Series, but if you fail, then you have a dead man to be afraid of. And that's all going to come back on AJ Styles. Because it's not going to fall on Dean Ambrose. It's not going to fall on Shane McMahon. It's not going to fall on James Ellsworth. It's not going to fall on the Wyatt family. I don't think. We've already seen that enough. We've seen it enough. We've seen it twice. We saw it at last year's Survivor Series and we saw it at WrestleMania 31. So we've seen it enough. It's going to fall on AJ Styles. See what happens there. My bank is Team Raw for that match. Let me know what y'all are thinking. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe. Twitter Webby at 2007 Webby. Facebook Webby at 2007 Webby. Until I see you again, this is Webby, and I'll catch you on the other side. Talk to you later.